Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. As one of my guests is Jordan Cross, an associate and regional resource director with Gensler Chicago. Jordan, how you doing?
Doing great. Such a pleasure to talk with you today.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
We met last week. Actually, Lily Gillen with Momentum Textiles introduced us.
Yeah, Libby is fantastic.
I thought it'd be good to give our listeners a little perspective on how you work the show nowadays with the Mart and the Fulton market area. And as I mentioned, you are from Chicago, so you kind of know the lay of the land. How did you end up working the show last week?
Now that the Mart is not the exclusive home for Neocon, it is a little trickier. So we have to split our time. This year, we decided to start in Fulton Market. And one of my partners here in Gensler Chicago and I, along with our counterpart from Gensler, San Francisco, we decided to spend a full day in Fulton Market on Monday, visited as many showrooms as humanly possible. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, we came back to the Mart and visited tons of different showrooms, saw as many new products as we could, tried to learn about new, innovative, sustainable materials and products, and had a really fun, productive week. In the past, we've done days half and half in both locations, but there's just constantly new showrooms, both in Fulton Market and the Mart. So honestly, there's a lot to see and do. And I know that some of our colleagues came in on Sunday this year and started then, but we opted to go Monday through Wednesday and kind of split our time half and half between the two spaces.
And so for the Mart, most people know that one of the restricting points is the elevator. So a lot of people go up to, say, 10 or 11 first thing in the morning and then just walk down. Is that the way you did it?
On Tuesday, we started on 3 because there are a ton of showrooms on the third floor of the Mart. And we spent the majority of our Tuesday on the third floor. And then after lunch, we did start up high on floor 11 and worked our way down by just walking down the stairs. And on Wednesday, we spent a lot of the time actually on the 7th floor because there are so many more temporary exhibits and new different booths that you don't get to see year round. And there was also a very cool lighting exhibit called Illuminate this year. So that was a lot of fun to get to see lighting exhibitors for the first time at Neocon.
For Fulton Market, it's about 10 blocks by 4 blocks. So do you just start on the west end and go east? How'd you do that?
We started based on an appointment that we had at 8 a.m., which let us start the day a little bit earlier than when most of the showrooms open at 9. So we started at the east end, close to Halstead, and then we actually walked all the way to the opposite end based on when we knew we had a happy hour at the east end so that we could maximize our time and basically walk to each showroom that was nearest each other. So I always have a map printed out because I'm a little old school, along with an itinerary. Even if we don't have appointments with different reps in different showrooms, we like to kind of walk at our own pace. I do organize everything based on its vicinity to each other.
Let's shift to designs for a minute. What themes are dominating the interior finishes designs this year?
Some of the trends this year were organic shapes, lots of curves. We kind of called it anatomical shapes or references. And that also included some overstuffed, soft seating. And even one thing that surprised me was sort of asymmetrical or off-center seams from a couple furniture vendors. So that was lovely for manufacturers. But that organic, curvaceous feel was evident throughout Neocon and Design Days this year. Another trend that I enjoyed seeing was really like color drenching throughout showrooms. A lot of my colleagues and I felt like oxblood was the color of the year. There were plenty of beautiful jewel tones, but it seemed like oxblood was evident in a ton of different showrooms this year, which paired really nicely with the jewel tones, a lot of chrome metals, and then the warmer tones that we're starting to see in flooring and just warmer neutrals throughout spaces. So that's been kind of refreshing and comforting and welcoming within spaces.
Are there any surprises?
Surprise-wise, I loved the ode to craftsmanship that we saw in multiple showrooms. We felt like manufacturers did this really well, kind of humanizing the manufacturing process by honoring the people who make furniture and products and textiles. And it was refreshing to see the faces of some of the folks that work in each manufacturing plant, just kind of behind the scenes. I thought that was a beautiful way to humanize the work that we so admire and the craftsmanship.
What did you think about, like with Shaw Industries, they had the whole retro, like a time travel back to 30, 40 years ago. Did you like that?
Absolutely love that. Yes, a few different showrooms did a great job of showing off some of their like original logos or art and literature from back in the day. And I love to see how companies evolve and grow and bring back like archival pieces. Yeah, Shaw did it well. Steel cases back stairwell. They had some fun posters hanging up. In past years, Miller Knoll has done that really well with all of their graphic design and just honoring the legacy. That's always really fun to see the history behind these brands that have been around for so many years.
Let's talk about business conditions for a few minutes. The biggest commercial vertical sector is workplace. Are you guys seeing a lot of activity, especially being in Chicago in the workplace category?
We are, yes. Thankfully, the Gensler Chicago office has stayed quite busy. This year, we've hired quite a few new people in every studio. Here, we've got 6 different design studios, 2 that are workplace focused, 2 that are lifestyle. Those are more hospitality, multifamily, urban design planning, and then 2 that are cities studios, and that's where critical facilities, healthcare, higher ed, and aviation and sports falls. But I think that our workplace practice areas have stayed quite busy. It's nice to see. We even have like a brand design team here in-house, and they're growing quite rapidly. Thankfully, we are busy.
Let me ask you about sustainability. That's a topic that Gensler feels pretty strongly about. Did you see anything interesting in the sustainability category in Chicago last week?
It was kind of cool to see how some companies are exploring mycelium. Mushroom base is something that I feel like we could explore more, and I'm curious to see how manufacturers will innovate with that. There were some acoustic solutions that were getting away from PET and starting to use cotton and other more renewable resources. So we always love to see the innovative solutions that we haven't thought of yet, materials that are more renewable or recyclable, and considering really end-of-life solutions, I think is what excites me more. But thank you for bringing up Gensler's sustainable mission. Yes, that's so important to us. And we introduced the Gensler Product Sustainability Standards in 2024. So now that we have about 18 different product categories that we're really focused on vetting materials for and making sure that we're specifying the healthiest materials out there, it is something that is near and dear to all of our hearts. And all of my counterparts who are resource directors and librarians have made this sort of our mission, helping move the needle forward in the whole industry.
What is your favorite flooring type to specify, based on this focus on sustainability?
I'm excited about the PVC-free resilient flooring. I would love to learn more about this healthier plastic. I feel like I need to get to know a little bit more about how it's recycled and how it can be used at the end of its life. But I think the fact that there are several manufacturers who have developed beautiful wood look resilient flooring that are just as durable as a vinyl, but are produced in a healthier manner is fascinating to me.
You mentioned wood look just a minute ago, and I think it's interesting. We poll designers in our October survey. They keep telling us that they want to see more abstracts and less faux wood and less faux stone. And there were a lot of abstracts this year, weren't there?
Yeah, it is nice to see a variety. Maybe we are a little oversaturated with materials that look like existing material.
When you come to Chicago Design Week, are you just trying to fill your head with what's available, or are you usually trying to find a specific solution for a project you're working on?
I am typically trying to find the latest and greatest because I don't specify for projects specifically. I get to suggest and share ideas with all of our design teams. I have the luxury of going in with an open mind and looking for inspiration. After Chicago Design Week, I get to pull together a big lookbook, and then I can share that with the entire firm, kind of see if there are overarching trends.
Last question, just based on that answer. So you have to put together a lookbook, and one of the things you might consider doing is see who won either the Best of NeoCon or the HIP Awards. Does that influence at all what you put in the lookbook?
I definitely do look at all of those awards. I like to give my own best of together with some of the other librarians. This year there were about 10 or 12 Gensler librarians that attended from all over the globe. So we'll create our own little internal best of showroom.
We'll be also publishing in our July issue a summary of what our editors are thinking was the leading design. So I'll send you a link to that. I appreciate you spending time with us, Jordan. Again, been talking to Jordan Cross, an associate and regional resource director with Gensler Chicago, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.